So as you see right in front of your screen is my Samsung Galaxy S10E. In this video, I just want to talk about the phone's pros and cons, because previously when I unboxed it a month ago, well, let's just say that it was just an unboxing and there was no time to do any pros and cons like other YouTubers would do. So in this video, it's just going to be something dedicated to that only. Alright, let me just stick this here on the stand, and might as well just get in. Alright, so let's start with the pros and cons on this phone. First off, I just want to mention, what does the E stand for the Samsung Galaxy S10E? And of course, according to Samsung's website, it really means, the E stands for Essentials. So when you buy a new phone and it says S10E, the E stands for Essentials. So this is my opinion as to what the E can also stand for as well. So, well, brand new off the bat, the E stands for Essentials. That's number one. Number two, as it ages, I can kind of call it as everyday. And number three, end of its life cycle, I'm going to call it enough is enough. So, yeah, so just imagine. Once the phone gets old, you can just kind of call it the Samsung Galaxy S10 enough is enough. Alright, so, the pros of this phone. This phone is a small phone. Okay, first off, let's start by number one. Number one, the phone is a small phone. Number two, it still has bezels around the screen. No fancy edges, as you can see, right? The phone does have its bezels. Okay? Let's keep it moving. Number three, headphone jack. Number four, physical fingerprint scanner. Yes. I reviewed this before, but I'm going to show it again. Right in the bottom is the headphone jack, next to the USB-C ports, and then the physical fingerprint scanner that's right there on the right hand side of the phone. All right. Number five, the phone has stereo speakers. Oddly and weirdly, it does. So if you buy one of these phones and you wonder where the left speaker is, that is the earpiece right over here, and the right speaker would be this speaker down over here. So you'd have a weird setup for a stereo speaker phone. And when it comes to the stereo speaker phone, whenever you would answer phone calls or so, you can actually hear the caller on both speakers, which I think is pretty cool. Now, according to security features, for number 6, of course, newly refreshed unlock features, which I think this is pretty cool. You have the facial unlock, you have the fingerprint, and smart unlock. So that's really nice for a phone like this, for what you can pay for, which I think is awesome. And finally, number 7, the phone does have my favorite color, which is the prism green color. From what I have understanding, they don't offer this phone here in the United States, but of course you can be able to get on eBay and you can be able to order the phone that way. And I've had this thing for a month and I've been trying it on the T-Mobile service and it works really good. As you saw on the first video, excuse me, not the first video, on the video that I installed the SIM card, I did do a demonstrated phone call and the phone worked flawlessly, which I don't want to do right now. Okay, so let's talk about what's missing on the phone. The phone doesn't feature a front flash on its camera, which I've noticed. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe there's a feature in the camera settings that might be hidden that I haven't discovered yet. However, if you've discovered that feature, let me know. I'm interested to find out and know what's going on in regards to the flash on the front, or should I say on the front facing camera that you look at the phone. But of course, as you all know, in the rear, yes, it does have a flash. And I also learned something new from a viewer, which he did tell me, that the little thing that you see right over here on the right of the flash, that's the laser for the autofocus. So I think that's awesome. I thank the viewer for that. Just forgot to mention his name, forgot to take note of it. But anyways, you know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, moving on. The cons of the phone. It's very pricey at $766 starting price. Yes, it is. I think it's really, really, really pricey. And also, that's number one. Number two, there's too much glass all around the phone. As you can see, yes. Of course, there's metal on the sides, but there's just a lot of glass. And, you know, this thing is a fingerprint magnet, as you can see. There's not too much of it right now because I keep cleaning this thing constantly. But yeah, it's a fingerprint magnet. But I guess when it comes to fashion and beauty, you have to have some drawbacks at times, which I think in a way it kind of sucks. But what can you do? Nothing much. But as you can see, it's a phone that once you hold it on your hand, it can be slippery. But thanks to the bezels, in a way, you can at least view the whole phone with no problem, as you can see right now that I'm doing. Now, one other thing, of course, I do want to review. I'm just going to turn this off here. The punch hole camera that you see right over here, really nice. I've gotten used to that punch hole camera and love it, love it. A lot of people might think that it's an odd placement where it's punched in the screen, but you know what? I've gotten used to it, and it's not a bad thing. Better than having a notch, All right. And also, the last thing I also want to talk about, what are the new extra features, of course. And I did review this on my first video when I unboxed this. Number one, it has dual rear cameras. Number two, very spacious storage and RAM. So of course, this phone, as you can see right over here, it is the 128 gigabyte model with 6 gigabytes of RAM. And I don't have any information of the processor, but I'm sure that all of you that do, then just put it down in the comments below, because I don't have that information up hand right now. And as you can see, yeah, it's really nice for a phone of this type, very basic, and it has all the RAM that you need and all the storage space that you need. And there's also another variant in the market that they do have a 256 gigabyte that also has a 8 gigs of RAM, which I think it's way more spacious than this. But hey, this does it really well for me, which I appreciate that. And it's a phone that I've been using for over a month, and the phone does really, really, really good for its performance, which turns out nice overall. Thank you for watching.